Everyone, happy Sunday to you. I hope all is well. Many of you still need to take your quiz. That's okay. It's not due till midnight tonight. So knock that out. And then moving forward this week is week 7 on treatment settings. You talked about co-occurring disorders this week on your quiz and why that's so important. In 1305, this kind of correlates. The DAAC 1305 class I teach is we were talking about assessment this week. So, it's constantly assessing clients, whether you're talking to them in the hall or doing an actual assessment, and looking at not just how often they drink or use drugs or things, but the big picture, the holistic view, because there's sometimes so much more at play. Well, I can tell you from an intervention perspective, when I roll up to do an intervention, sometimes it happens where it's not just substance abuse and mental health is the primary. So you really need to be able to do your best to decipher that. Sometimes you can't tell. One mimics the other. So what we will always do is prepare our families in an intervention setting for, let's start with the primary treatment, unless it's a glaring issue. We'll start with the primary substance treatment center, and then with the understanding there's a plan B if they get in there and several days later, a week later, it's determined that their mental health is the primary issue. So very important. And working with someone in a treatment setting, oftentimes people will get in and then it'll be determined they're not appropriate for that facility because they're just not equipped to care for that type of intensive care. It happens. So know your symptoms, know what you're looking at. You don't have to be an expert by any means, but you do need to be aware of those things. Working in a treatment setting, that's where I cut my teeth, and I loved it. You never know where your career is going to take you in a treatment setting. I started out as the weekend guy, new on the block, right? Did that for 3 years and loved it. But at some point I have a child and she got into high school and I wanted to be a part of her things. And so I was able to go from a detox counselor to an IOP counselor, filling in between for residential. And I did, I was very familiar with how admissions worked. And then it was brought to my attention that I could market for them. I'd never marketed before. That was a springboard for my private practice. It let me meet people in the community I would have never had the opportunity to meet. It also let me make my own opinions about other facilities and other people in the industry that I was relying on other people to give me that information. So it was, I'm a proponent of touring places and getting to networking events and talking with people. I can't stress the importance of that. Form your own opinions of places, not just what other people say. Because I'll give you an example. I had a colleague once say, this place is a flop house, referring to a particular sober living facility back in the day. And I said, really, why do you say that? Well, they've had 3 or 4 people return to use. Okay, so by that ideology, that makes our treatment center terrible. Are we terrible? Right? So you just can't go by someone else's opinion. Go talk to the people. Go tour the places. I know it's inconvenient. I know we're busy. We have families. We don't want to work outside of work. Do it. I'm telling you, you'll be better for it. You'll be a better clinician, and the people that need to benefit from that will benefit from that, right? So while not only it will help you, more importantly, it'll help the people you work with. Absolutely believe in that. That said, next week after your treatment settings DB is a smart recovery paper. I mentioned last week, don't wait till the last week. You got to do some kind of little account thing and introduce yourself. It's annoying for sure, but that's their process. Don't wait till the last week and can't get in there and be like, I couldn't do it. Well, that's not my fault. So I've been telling you for weeks, do it ahead of time. I did it. It took 7 or 8 minutes start to finish. So, it's taken some people a little longer over the time, but it's always, it can get done. So if you wait to the last minute, that's on you. So hear me on that. Don't wait to the last minute, guys. Other than that, everything's cruising right along. I hope you guys are really gaining some experience here that you'll be able to take with you as a foundational piece through your career. It's important. It's more than important. It's our ethical responsibility to know about these different types of meetings. I'm embarrassed to say now knowing what I know today, that I didn't learn about smart recovery till probably 2 years into my, maybe three, even into my career as an LCDC. It's very important you know that these are out there and start to have the mindset of a professional clinician of it's not about what works for me or my mom or my brother or my sister or my cousin or my neighbor. It's about what they're willing to do, right? Basic motivational interviewing. Guys, I hope you have a great week. As always, I'm here for Zoom meetings to talk about the industry, the field of study or work, anything you want related to this field of work or study. I'm happy to just talk to you about. So hit me up. If you have any questions, always hit me up. And if I can be of any help, I'm happy to help. Take advantage of everything UST has to offer, from our wellness center to our writing help to whatever it is, right? We have a lot of help available for you as a student. So be sure to take advantage of those things. And we'll talk soon, guys. Have a great week.